In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Sheets to create a template that will allow us to estimate the cost of a project. So before I show you how to do that, I'll show you what the finished product looks like. And you basically have a table over here where you have your item description. So you'll be buying a 2x4 that's 8 feet long. And then you have another column that will let you type in how many of that product you have. The next column will be the cost per product, or per item, I should say. And then the last cell is going to be multiplying these two cells together to get the total cost. And then you have the same thing for every other item that you'd be adding to your cost estimate sheet. And then at the very end over here, we would add up all the costs of the individual items. So this is the finished product over here, and let's get started with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create we'll get rid of what's in cell A1. So just hit delete. And we're just going to type in cost estimate. Okay? And we're going to worry about formatting a little bit later in the video. And then I'm going to have my column titles. So we're going to just say be consistent. Item description. Quantity, cost per unit, and then total cost. Okay. Now this is, it does fit in this cell, but if you have to make the cell a little bit larger, you can come over here and make the cell larger, or you could always double click right there, and then it'll automatically adjust it so it fits a little bit more nicely. Okay. I think we're going to have we're going to do another column over here where we're going to just kind of have them numbered. Now, I like to keep a blank row and a blank column. I think it looks nicer. For example, I think this looks nicer than, say, if we were to delete this column and this row right here. Like, I don't think it looks as nice that way. So I like to keep row 1 and column A blank. So if I want to add another column over here, you're going to have to come over here to either column A or B, and then you could right-click and then do insert column left or right, depending on which one you clicked. Okay? And I'm going to just do type 1, 2, and I'm going to go all the way down to 15. But I don't want to keep typing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What you can do is, once you have 2 of a sequence, you can copy the logic down the rest of the way. So what I'm going to do is highlight these 2 cells and then move my cursor to the bottom right of the cell. Notice how right now my cursor is the white pointer. If I go to the perimeter, it gives me the hand and I could move it around. What I really want to do is go to the bottom right corner and it goes into a black cross. This will copy the logic down. So watch what happens when you click, hold, and drag it down. It follows the same sequence. So it saw that 1 and 2. Well, the second cell is just 1 more than the previous cell. So it just keeps following the logic of making the next cell 1 more than the previous. To show you what I mean is, say it was like 2 and then 4. And I copied that logic down. Oh, well, you just want me to keep adding 2 to every cell. You can keep following that logic. Like this, it's going to be adding 4 to each cell. But of course, I want just regular 1 through 15. And I'm going to make that cell a little bit smaller. So I'll double click up there and make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Now I want to type values over here. So this is going to be left without a formula. So, this might be like 2x4 by 8 feet long, whatever. Over here is where you input how many of that product you're buying. Over here is where you're going to type in how much it costs per product. And over here, the total cost is going to be the quantity multiplied by the cost per unit. So say I need 20 2x4s and each 2x4 is $5, then the total cost is going to be this cell multiplied by this cell. And And the way you do that, let me go from the beginning because some of this might be very new for some of you. Click on the cell that you would like to have the formula go, and you're going to type in equals. And this allows you to type in a formula so that you're able to apply this logic to any cost estimate. So what I mean by that is if you had 20 quantities and then $5 over here, that's easy enough. It's $100. However, what if you go back later and you say, actually I need 25 of these? This isn't going to update automatically. However, if I had this be a formula, so let's let this cell equal D4, and it actually gave me a preview that it could have let me just do it automatically, but I'm going to show you. Multiplication is Shift 8, and then over here, boom. Now, if I change this, actually we need 30. This will now automatically adjust. And we want to copy that logic down for all of these rows over here. I want the contents on row 5 to be, well, maybe this is a 2 by 6, and each one of these are, well, we need 10 of them, and it's $10 a pop, right? I want this cell to multiply going across. So I could just keep doing D5 times E5, and again, it kind of thinks that I want to do that, so if you ever have a suggestion come up and it's correct, you can hit enter, but I'm just going to show you how to do it manually. Now, you could do it that way, but I want to copy the logic down because that'll save me time. So I'm going to click on this cell that I want to copy the logic down, and to copy logic, after you highlight the cell, go to the bottom right corner where it becomes the black cross, and click, hold, and drag it down. And then you're good. So now, this cell over here, F16, is equal to D16 times E16. And we're good to go. Now, the last thing we're going to do is, all the way at the bottom, we want, so the price right here, this is, say, 2 by 4. So we're going to be spending $150 on 2 by 4s. We're spending $100 on 2 by 6s. And then after we do all of these, each of the individual prices that we're spending total for that item will be shown here. But I want to know how much is the overall shed going to cost. So for that cell, I'm going to do equals, and I'm going to do a sum function. So Excel and Google Sheets has these pre-programmed, what would you call them? Basically these pre-programmed functions that you can do. So you could do equals this cell plus this cell plus this, and that would take a while. If you do equals and then type in SUM, you can see all these different functions that come up. And it gives you a preview of some that you might want. In this time, it actually is right with this one right here. Like, I wouldn't want to do the sum of that because I wouldn't want to get the sum of this text right here. This is actually what I would want. But let's say that it was incorrect and we have to do it manually. You can just click sum right here. So sum, and then just highlight the cells you want to get a sum of. And then close off the parenthesis, and then boom, good to go. We are actually done with the calculator itself. However, it looks kind of ugly. And over here, it looks very nice. So let's work on making it a little bit nicer. So how can we make it nicer? Because the way it looks and the way it presents does make a very big difference in its functionality. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything, and let's add a border. You can go over here to border, and there's different types of border. You can do it just an outside border, but I really want it for all. Okay, already it looks nicer. Maybe I want to center it. Maybe I want to center only some of it. No, we'll center all of it. Maybe I want this text over here to be bold. We're going to make this bold also. Oh, now we have to adjust this over here, so we'll double click. This cost estimate, I actually want that to be more like in the center over here. So what I could do is I can actually merge all these cells, because I really only need one cell right here. Like, all of these individual ones don't really help me. I want it to be kind of one title header thing. So over here you can hit merge. And if you ever make a mistake, you can always unmerge. I'm going to make that bold. Maybe I'll make it a little bit larger too. Yeah, that looks better. I'm going to add maybe some colors. Colors might make it look nicer. So down here, I'm going to make these cells a little bit smaller just so I can get it all on one screen, hopefully. Looks like it's just short by the way my computer's dimensions are. Over on the bottom over here, I'm going to create a title so I know what I'm looking at. We'll put this as, how did I label it? Total project cost. Total project cost. And it doesn't quite fit in that cell, so let's merge these two cells together. Yeah, looks nicer. Maybe we'll make it bold. Maybe we'll make this cell a background fill color of yellow. Oh, I thought I hit yellow. Good. And now I'm going to keep kind of making it look nicer. I'm going to also change up the border a little bit. I think it looks good to have a thick border on the outside, so I'm going to say, hey, make the outer border thicker. Thick outer borders kind of create like good distinctions between sections of the program. So let's go ahead and add some outer borders. Another nice border is over here. You can create the bottom border to be double slimlined. Yeah, it looks pretty good. There's no right or wrong way to format with the borders, but there are ways that look better than other ways, I would say. And that looks pretty good. Other things that are worth noting here are if you ever, like sometimes, like I typed in the mathematical button to make these monetary. If you ever want to change that, you can highlight it, and then you could, where's format? Oh, it's over here. Sorry. I was thinking of Excel for a minute. If you ever want to highlight over here, up here, you can change it to be a number, a percent, a accounting, currency, whatever you need it to be. And that is the general function of it. There is one more thing I would like to show you guys, and that's, well, it's kind of ugly that it just see a bunch of zeros whenever you don't have something. So I'm going to quickly show you how to add logic to only have the number come up if there's something there. So we're going to do that using if-then. So if-then is programming logic, if you've ever taken AP Computer Science. And if-then basically says, if we have this, then we are going to do this. And the way that looks in Excel is you type in equals if. Okay, so then we're going to say, if what? You have to do a logical test. So let's think of a test that we say that if it's true, then we want it to have the output be D times E. So I don't know, if D times E equals 0, let's say. So if D times E equals 0, which means if either of these are 0, then what do you want to have happen? Well, if either of these are 0, I don't want it to show anything. So comma, I'm going to do quotation, quotation. Because what the quotations do is it will display what's in between them. And if nothing's in between them, it'll be blank. Comma, okay, what do you want to display if D4 times E4 does not equal 0, meaning there is something? So if they're not equal to 0, then I want you to display D4 times E4. Boom. And now I'm going to copy the logic down again and explain it a little bit further. Look, now I got rid of it for these two cells. And it will only display something when you have a value typed in for both of these. Boom. And that's pretty much the same. I'll quickly do a little if-then for the bottom over here. So if the sum of that equals 0, meaning we have nothing there, then, comma, quotation, quotation. Else, then I want you to display that sum. And then one other thing, like if you put random text in between the parentheses, that's what would display, just to show you that. And that pretty much concludes it, which is good because I'm only limited to 15 minutes per video. So hopefully that helps, and I'll see you guys later.